Hello, Thomas. This is Roger Clark here from Sky Sports News. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, hi, Roger.
Hello, hi. Good to see you. I think I've got a slightly dodgy Wi-Fi connection. You're a bit blurry, but I can see you. So beginning of your recording at that end. So we'll crack on then. First of all, I understand there was a positive coronavirus test at the club. Can you just give us the latest on that? I don't know if you're able to tell us who it was or if it's affected your preparations at all.
No, I would say it's just to go to the press release that says that is medical confidential. So yes, we have a positive test in the club, and yeah, that's it.
In terms of your preparations for the restart, how have things gone? Bearing in mind you've had to work through the various phases and protocols and so on. Are you as well prepared as you'd like to be for a return to Championship football?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm pleased. I would say the only thing compared to a normal preseason that you would potentially would have had 2 or 3 more friendly games to play just to build the fitness, but also to build that relationship with the players between each other. But fitness wise, it's strength conditioning. No concern. The players just show unbelievable attitude and hard work, and just came back in a very good place when we started.
This is, of course, a local derby to return to. It's a huge shame, huge significance, and so on. Of course, there'll be no fans. Does that take the sting out of it at all? Does it maybe level things up a little bit and could perhaps even work to your advantage?
I would say all football matches preferably are played with fans, of course. That give an extra edge. Football is for the people. We would love to play in front of people. We would love to make our fans happy. We would love to fight the war against Fulham with our fans against Fulham and their fans. So that's preferably. Unfortunately, the world is not normal this moment in time, so we need to get the best out of that. I think I agree with you. I think the home advantage is mainly the fans who give that home advantage. That's the biggest single part of everything when you try to measure that or try to describe that. So I think we'll see much more away wins in general in the championship compared to normal. We already also have seen that in the Bundesliga, for example.
Crucial importance to both clubs. Are you still thinking that you can challenge for an automatic promotion spot, or are these last games now all about making sure you stay in that next chasing pack and keep your place in the playoffs?
2 things. One, what we've been saying the whole season is the most important thing is the training tomorrow. Then the most important game is the game on Saturday, and after that it's the training next day on Monday, and so it's going forward. But I think we will still continue doing that. The next bit, we have 9 plus potentially 3 games to go, and of course our aim is to get promoted. We are in a place where we are in a good place and a good position of the league. We don't take anything for granted. We know it's unbelievable competitive league, but we trust ourselves. We believe ourselves. We believe we're in a good place. So first and foremost, of course, we need to secure that playoff spot. But as long as there is a chance, we'll go for that. But we can only do that if we put all our focus into the training tomorrow, and after that, all our focus into the training on Saturday, game on Saturday.
Before you went into lockdown, you had a run of results that weren't going particularly well, and then you had a big one on that last game, the 5-0 win that you had. Did you feel that you were just about to get onto a bit of a run there? You turn the corner, maybe get a bit of momentum, and that's been halted by this 3 months that we've had away. You were able to hit the ground running again in the way you were just before we went into lockdown?
I think we got I think you got, can you say, back on track in terms of a very good performance and scored 5 goals and had that important clean sheet. I think we need to remind ourselves one of our biggest strengths this year. Yes, we know we play on our day some very nice, attractive, forward-thinking football, and we have the well-known BMW up front, which we can be very reliable on. But I think the one standout thing we did so much better, we've done so much better this year, is the way we defend. And that's why the clean sheet was the biggest thing for me in that game. The next bit you're talking about, momentum or not momentum. I don't know. I just know one thing now. We are in a better place because we have all our injured players back and everybody's fit and ready for selection. So that's a very positive. And we showed throughout this season that when we can play our strongest squad, our strongest lineup, plus having the next in line to coming on from the bench, then we are very, very strong team.
And you mentioned there about starting lineup and the squad and so on. Are you in a position this weekend to be fielding a strongest lineup with the next in line ready to come in as well?
Yeah, we have the strongest lineup available for Saturday, so I'm very, very positive about that.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's my question to you, so I'll let the next person come in and put their question to you. Thank you very much, and all the best for the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Hey Thomas, it's Chris from BBC London TV here. Good to see you. Just in the light of that positive test, have any of the players expressed any concerns over safety?
So, of course, I had to ask a few questions, I don't know exactly, but let's say, do we maybe be more aware of social distancing or whatever, hygiene or whatever, stuff like that. But in general, everybody knows that the training ground is like a clinic place to be. The training ground is possible the most safest place to be because we are so big. We have such a big focus on social distancing, hygiene, maintain the standards, doing everything right compared to, let's say, the normal society when you go down to do your shopping or whatever you do outside the training ground. So no, at the training ground, absolutely fine.
Of course, everyone who loves football would love to see fans there tomorrow, but trying to find positives when it's a huge derby like this and with so much at stake, is there perhaps a positive that there won't be the intensity there and that takes some of the pressure off the players to just concentrate on your instructions?
Maybe there's a chance that they actually can hear what I'm shouting at them. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's a tricky. I think again we prefer to have a full house at Craven Cottage, and we know that the local derby is a fantastic experience. I've tried that a couple of times, and it's really enjoyable. And I know the players would have wanted that as well, together with the fans. But now it is what it is, and we will try to get the best out of that circumstance in terms of maybe we can use our communication from the touchline better. Maybe some players on our side need to step up in terms of communicating earlier the tactical bits, but also keeping the energy and how can you say, the awareness high.
And on a personal level, not speaking as a football manager, but obviously the last few weeks and months have been difficult for everyone across the continent, everyone across the world. But some people have spoken about perhaps having the time to read books they've not read before, or see films they haven't seen before, or spend more time with the family. What positives have you managed to take out of this personally over the last few weeks and months?
Yeah, first and foremost, I try to take some time off because it's been, we know Championship is relentless. It's a fantastic league and we all love it. But I think pretty soon you could see that, okay, it's going to be quite long, this break. So I took some time off in terms of more time with the family, more time to read some books, as you said. I actually managed to read 3 books in 7 days, so that was fantastic to have that extra time to do that. Getting refreshed again because we all know that, of course, we've been ongoing for I can't, it's 4 or 5 weeks, I don't know now. And then we know it's going to be 6.5 weeks from now, relentless, and potentially no holiday. So it's been really good for me to charge the batteries. Really good to spend even more time. I also had a chance to go back to Denmark, where it was more open to see family and friends. So I'm ready to compete, and I'm looking forward to it.
And obviously this comes at a time when the fans were getting ready to say goodbye to a famous old stadium. And does it sadden you that they won't get a chance? It doesn't seem like, unless things change quickly and somehow some fans were allowed back in, perhaps for potential playoffs, but it doesn't look like they'll get a chance to say a proper goodbye to the stadium. Does that sadden you?
Yeah, it does, because I think it was the big farewell season at Griffin Park, and we all look forward to one way or another to have that final game at Griffin Park and have a proper farewell. But you all know it's not for all the fans. It's not the last day they remember. They remember the highs, where in 20 years ago, where there may be only 4,000 fans there, and they won that famous game, or it was a whatever February night under the floodlights, poured down with rain, and Brentford still won 1-0. I think they have a lot of memories in their heart and in their mind, and I think that's the most important thing. And to all the fans who were lucky enough to be there against Sheffield Wednesday, the good thing was that we won 5-0. I'm pretty pleased with
that. Okay, thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hi Thomas, it's Phil here. How are you?
I'm good, Phil. Hi, Phil. Good to see you.
And you, yeah, in a bizarre way. Just in regards to what's already now gone, obviously the Bundesliga has been up and running for a while, but 2 games last night in the Premier League. Have you learned anything from what you've seen from other leagues and from other games that have already taken place behind closed doors that may be useful in preparation for these games coming?
I learned that the goal line technology and the VAR right. And we know that technology is not perfect. Of course, I watched much more Bundesliga football than I normally do, and also watched the 2 games last night in the Premier League. I think that the things that I will take out of those games were things I already thought about, in terms of what about the communication? How much can we use that from the touchline? How much communication can we use from the players? How much can we use that we hopefully have 3, 4, 5 players that are pretty vocal in terms of everything from tactical instructions to set pieces to how do we set the pressure to adapt, to keep the energy, to the awareness. So that's a bit. And then maybe what we talked about earlier with Roger from Sky, that this home advantage is maybe not going to be that big. I would say that we try to attack and do the same away as at home, but we know the fans sometimes can dictate extra pressure, and that's not the same anymore.
And we've discussed this already about the fact this is almost like a 9-game mini season in many respects. A lot of people have said this. Does that mean that the approach to these games is slightly different than if it was the start of a 46-game season?
I think the difference is that they are coming even thicker and faster than normal in the championship. And it's not only for 2 weeks, 5 games in 2 weeks. It's I had the number, I can't even remember now. But after the game on Saturday, then when we start we play next Friday against West Brom. From that game and 8 plus 3 games going forward, that's going to be a challenge, and that's down to planning, feeling brave in terms of how can we take the right decisions in terms of rotation, using the squad there, but also in the substitutions. keeping the right players fresh for the right games, and then still have in mind, and I mean that's extremely important, focus on the next training, the next game, because we can't plan too far ahead.
No, because the games are going to come thick and fast, and in regards to that, that's where having a fully fit squad again is going to be key, isn't it? Really, because it is going to be the requirement of using that squad to its fullest. We saw 2 Arsenal players go off injured last night in the first 20 minutes. And there are going to be injuries, aren't there, that will be picked up. So the squad is going to be essential.
The squad is going to be essential. We just spoke about that. I've said that 4 weeks ago, and I mentioned it again today to the boys that everybody needs to be available. It's not about one player, another player, and a third player, or me. It's about us and how can we add to the squad? How can we add to the team? How can we add to what we are? How can you say? Looking forward to try to achieve, and everybody needs to be ready. Some will play a lot of minutes, some will play a little less, but every single minute is very important to try to achieve the big target.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Jen. So that's the end of the broadcast bit. That's for immediate release. All the quotes in there, anything you want, and all to the written section now. I think Malik's going to lead us off.
Lovely. Yeah, hi Thomas, it's Malik here from the Evening Standard. Hope you're well. Just to start with, I know you said earlier that it's about taking it one game at a time over these next 9 games, but is it fair to say that the results in the next 2 games in particular against West Brom and Fulham will determine what Brentford are able to aim at with the 7 that come afterwards?
Yeah, I think so. Normally I will be pretty harsh on focus on Fulham and then on West Brom. But I guess it was also the same before, but now we just had time to really refresh and all that. So we know that these 2 games are essential if we want to have a chance to go directly up. So no secret in that. But that still start with the first game. Can we win that? That gives us opportunity to the next one. So if we don't win that, then there's no reason to speak about the West Brom game.
And looking to the Fulham game in particular, Tom Kearney said yesterday, I think, that he didn't necessarily think it would be the best footballing team that progressed over the next few weeks and had the most success. Is that a little surprising given A, the way that Fulham like to play football, and B, the fact that without the fans in the stadium, perhaps you might see players relax a little bit more and try and play a bit more football?
I don't know exactly what his purpose of the message was exactly, but maybe it's because people are not up to top speed yet and understand that in terms of haven't played that many friendlies and also less team training. So I understand that extremely sharpness and quality is a factor, and also think sometimes in season you're building your way into a long season. So in that perspective, I understand it. I still though think that the game on Saturday is going to be hopefully, but I think there's a good chance a top game to watch. It's against from my perspective, 2 of the best footballing sides in this division. And I know both teams want to dominate on the ball. Both teams want to press high, and both teams want to take initiative. But hopefully, again, all technical bits, abilities come down to 3 things for me. If we can provide that for tomorrow, a very, very, very hard work, an unbelievable attitude that we're confident that, we believe in ourselves, but we are very humble. We're playing against the good opponents, and a unique togetherness that the best teams, they repair each other's mistakes, and hopefully we can show that tomorrow.
And then finally from me, the League 2 playoffs are starting up pretty much straight away, League 1 as well, without the teams having any chance to get back into their rhythm. Obviously, these games being on gives you the chance to aim for automatic promotion, but also with a view to the playoffs. How important is it that you get some games under your belts before you come into what will be for everyone potentially the biggest games of their careers?
Yeah, of course that means something. And we all know the history of the championship playoffs. What kind of momentum are you going into those 2 semifinals with? Is it you've been on a high and you just barely missed out of the 2 direct promotions, or you just slide in and you just continue, or have you been there for a long time so you're fresh or whatever? But basically, it's 2 games where everything is on stake and they're different compared to anything else.
Thanks very much, Thomas.
Hi, Thomas. Hi.
Hi.
During the lockdown, did you have a plan for the players, like, about wherever they were, like, how to train, how to keep the fitness up? Did you have a plan for them during that time?
Yes, we had. Of course, from day one, they got fitness programs from Chris Haslam, our head of performance, and his guys. And we planned it week by week. So of course, the first couple of weeks it changed slightly, because first we thought maybe it's only going to be some weeks. Then we're going to see it was a longer time. Then it was a little bit, when are we going to to start? So the programs changed slightly, because some of the weeks I also need to go down a bit and refresh. But we've been on top of that, and we've been in contact with the players at least once a week. Mainly to see how they were mentally, and also asking a little bit about the programs, how was everything going, and so on. And it showed up that they just showed that unbelievable determination to come back in a top place, and they did.
Could you also tell us what were your positives from the 2 closed-door friendlies that you have played against Arsenal and Watford? Specifically those 2 matches, what were the positives you have taken from those matches?
Both matches, I think, showed that we are in a good place physically. I was pleased with that. I was pleased with the Arsenal game, and also the Watford game. Actually, more or less the defensive side of our game were back in place. I would say we gave very few chances away. I know we conceded 2 goals, but the Watford goal, for example, was a 25 top shot in the top corner, and a big mistake between 2 players. That was actually the only chances, or if you call that chances, in the game against Premier League sides. So that was positive. And then we've been working on the last week here to go down in load. So short burst intensity drills or spells. Where we've been working and getting that sharpness and quality into the touches and the way we play.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. Good luck for Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Thomas. Hope you're doing well. A few questions from me. With the introduction of 5 substitutes, do you feel this will affect your kind of tactical moves you make during a game?
Yeah, it definitely could. I would say tactically that depends on the game, of course. So I would say it's physically freshness, power / tactically. Of course, if you need to change something, then it's easier to put 3 players on instead of only 2 or 1, if that's what we have left. So that definitely gives us some tactical flexibility. But I think it's about to use that freshness or extra energy in the right moment of the games, especially when the load are increasing. So the first game, I don't think that's going to be the biggest problem. Of course, there'll be some tired players with that little extra pressure and mental part of playing the first game. But physically, they're fine to go 90 minutes, 100%. But it's the next games coming up that we need to be aware and try to use in the best possible way.
And what kind of specific challenges are you expecting from the Fulham side ahead of the weekend?
I think for me, Fulham are one of the best sides on the ball. So we need to be able to close that down. We need to defend extremely well, and that's everything from the high pressure to the middle block to the low block, and everybody being extremely disciplined, extremely aware of every time we can, press towards the ball, press forward, get that high line up, put pressure on the ball. That is the key for me. To win the game. Of course, we need to be able to play football. We need to try to take initiative and stuff like that. But can we do that? I think that will give us an advantage.
Cool. And then final one for me. Looking ahead to next season, how difficult with the kind of late finishing of this season is it to kind of plan for next season, especially in light of a potential promotion to the Premier League, perhaps in terms of player recruitment and things like that?
That's a good question. Of course, the planning. I don't know when we're going to start the next season. I know the dates when we finish this season. So for me, this moment in time is all about focusing the next coming games and make sure we get everything right and give it a massive push. And then when we get the dates and we know that, okay, then that's why we can start planning. But it will be something that we never tried before. I must say, more or less, before we start again. But I will say, actually, in Denmark, you had that experience that we had very short spell between the two seasons because we started the European qualifiers. So we actually more or less only had 10 days 1 year. So so we just need to deal with it.
But thank you very much. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
We try David again.
Can you hear me now, lads?
Yes, finally.
Oh, excellent. Hi, Thomas. You alluded to the fact that you plan to make use of the extra subs. I wondered whether that means that more B team players are likely to be involved in your squad, and with that in mind, where Marcus Forss is fitness-wise at the moment, and also Canos, who of course has been injured as well.
The B team players, I would say that because we have a fit squad now, it's most likely they will not use one of our that formal B team players, if that makes sense. We have one of them, Frederick Hammer, to train with us. So that's a potential possibility. But we have a fully fit squad, so we have. The good thing is we have a lot of already promoted B team players in the squad that we can use, of course. So yeah, that's one thing. Marcus Forss is fighting his way back into full fitness. It will be some weeks before he's available for selection. Sergio Canos is getting closer and closer and looking sharp. So hopefully he can soon be ready for selection.
Mm-hmm. And I must ask you about Benrahma, Thomas. There's been a lot of speculation about him, as you know. Are you aware of any kind of approach from any club that's been made to Brentford for him?
No.
Okay, that's a straight answer to a straight question.
Yeah.
All right, thanks very much. Good luck for Saturday.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Right, gents, anyone got anything else?
Can I bring one in, Chris?
Okay, Jeff.
Hi, Thomas. Good to see you. Just one, you always mention the fans in your post-match press conferences. It's going to be a very unusual match day experience this time. Notice watching the games in the Prem yesterday, the sort of flatness there. I'll be talking to some of the fans doing a live show tomorrow evening, and I just wonder what you would say to them of how they can make their support for the boys known, given that they won't be there. You won't be able to hear them cheering on Ealing Road. How will you get the sense from the fans that they're behind you in this very sort of unprecedented situation?
That's a good question, because it's difficult, because fans these days, of course, is a lot about being present on the stadium, making a lot of noise and support us. Two things I would say. One thing, we know that in our heart they're also always with us, and we know that they will do everything they can to try to push us or support us, and we know they will be there for us. The only thing is, in these social media days, they can definitely be very positive there. I think that's maybe the key. If I don't know how it works, not in details, but they could be very positive in every feedback they feed out there on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or whatever it is, instead of being too angry when we lose a game, because that could happen. It's football, so make sure they support us. And we know it's a short season, so we need to get past the setbacks as quick as possible and move forward, because we have something very exciting in front of us. So we'll miss them massively, but we know they're with us.